this long in the draft is beyond me, but it's okay. They did what they did, and everybody knows what was done. I am praying to God that Shedeur gets an opportunity to show what he can really do. And I think that would be probably the best thing for him. But knowing the Cleveland Browns, they dumbass gonna trade him. They gonna trade him away because, quarterbacks ain't what we do.
Steve Harvey has revealed some startling facts regarding the Cleveland Browns, and the NFL is in a frenzy. Harvey didn't mince words when he criticized the NFL as a whole for opposing a young quarterback who is dominating college football on his most recent podcast with Ryan Clark. He claims that Shedeur Sanders slid into the draft in an almost unthinkable place. Together with the Browns, he claims that they are making every effort to prevent him from moving forward. Harvey even went so far as to say that the organization intends to bench Shedeur until they trade him away and has no intention of allowing him to flourish. Is one of the top quarterback prospects in recent college history being sabotaged by the Browns? Stay tuned as we go further into this contentious issue.
I saw Shedeur play was an impressive game. The second time, they put 4-5 linemen in the game that had never played football, organized, PAL, or no other league, and he got sacked 800 times, thrown for 2,000 yards in losses.
Right.
We find out later on that none of them damn linemen is playing football even today. They shouldn't have been playing in the first damn place.
According to Steve Harvey, Shedeur Sanders seemed like a legitimate quarterback and performed well in the first season game. However, in the following game, Browns management substituted a lineman who had never played football before. Additionally, Shedeur Sanders struggled in that game, missing throws and momentum. Following that game, Steve Harvey hinted that Shedeur Sanders was the quarterback and that everything was on him. However, why did those athletes not make the squad roster if they were that good? Furthermore, Steve Harvey is correct. The Browns situation is becoming even more complicated. The organization is frantically trying to safeguard their young quarterback now that the whole offensive line that played with Shedeur Sanders in the final preseason game is gone. Cleveland is under increasing pressure, and head coach Kevin Stefanski is the center of attention. His choices are being closely examined, particularly in light of Shedeur's ongoing on-field difficulties. Both analysts and fans are asking, is this a case of mismanagement, or is the Browns front office really holding back one of the brightest quarterback prospects in the league? The stakes are quite high, and the tension is evident. Steve Harvey continued after that. He made the point that although Dillon Gabriel is currently getting preference over Shedeur Sanders, Gabriel is also under pressure. Harvey claims that because assuming Shedeur's role has such high expectations, Gabriel will lose it if he is thrust into a full game. Additionally, he emphasized that Gabriel has never played against dominant teams like the Baltimore Ravens or Pittsburgh Steelers. Harvey says that when the Wolves arrive, Gabriel's ability to remain composed will be put to the test. It's an obvious message. The consequences may be severe, and Cleveland's quarterback position is a ticking time bomb. Steve Harvey cautioned that by mistreating Shedeur Sanders, the Browns are truly playing with fire. The team knows that Joe Flacco can't carry them for very long, so they'll eventually have to start Shedeur. However, if they move him, they won't have a solid quarterback because Dillon Gabriel isn't likely to be able to handle the pressure when it matters most. Harvey believes that Cleveland might experience a tremendous backlash as a result of this tactic.
Flacco will be playing a few games, but his old ass gonna get hurt. You just can't be 40 and run that fast away from all these people. So Joe Flacco gonna get hurt. Then we're gonna go to this white dude that no one has ever heard of until draft day. We've never heard of him.
But Steve Harvey, however, made it apparent that he is not speaking out in support of Shedeur Sanders. He is an unwavering supporter of the Browns. He related a personal narrative about how at the age of 7, he witnessed the 1964 Browns win the title. He did, however, describe how the team's continuous quarterback drama and internal prejudices ruined their chances of winning another championship for many years. Harvey's displeasure stems from his loyalty and heartache over Cleveland's missed opportunities.
8 years old. I was sitting on the floor with my father in 1964 watching the Cleveland Browns beat the Baltimore Colts' ass. I was 7 years old. I watched that. I watched Jim Brown get up, be the last man into the huddle, all of that. I've watched us not win nothing since 1964. And you're gonna sit here and ask me about a damn quarterback?
Furthermore, Harvey's worries are not unjustified. Anyone keeping a close eye on the Browns this season can see exactly what Stefanski and his team are doing, or not doing. Longtime Stefanski supporter Mary Kay Cabot has now publicly chastised the team for poorly handling the offense. Not just Shedeur is going through this. Fans are upset and concerned about the team's direction because the entire offense appears disorganized and ineffectual. Mary Kay Cabot's criticism of Stefanski wasn't the end. She also had concerns about the Browns' preseason preparedness. She expressed concerns about Joe Flacco's lack of time to establish rapport with important receivers like Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy. Cabot claims that the inability to coordinate has been evident since expensive mistakes and misunderstandings have already occurred on the pitch. She underlined that the quarterback and his weapons must be completely in sync for the offense to be successful. That link is currently absent, which is a big part of why the offense seems so disjointed and unproductive.
Defense this year, run the ball, and then try to get good, clean quarterback play. Only one of those three things has happened so far, and that's the really good defense. Now they've got to get the offense up and running. And so far, we haven't seen the timing and the consistency yet between Joe and Jerry Jeudy, Joe and Cedric Tillman. He was 2 of 7 targets in this past game. He was stumbling and falling down. So we just haven't seen that yet. And Joe, I don't think he had enough time on task in preseason with these guys. It happened in the final 2 weeks of camp.
When analyzing the Browns' problems, Ken Carman wasn't holding back and pointed straight to the system as the main problem. He maintained that the offensive has no chance of operating effectively in the current configuration. Carman admitted that bringing in young quarterbacks with arm talent like Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel could provide excitement, but he cautioned that even they would struggle if the system keeps the team from succeeding. His point was obvious. If no major adjustments are made, Stefanski will be responsible for any further losses. Carman underlined that the Browns cannot continue to depend on an offensive strategy that is ineffective. One guy, Shedeur Sanders, is the reason why the entire NFL community is currently keeping a close eye on the Cleveland Browns. Wins and defeats aren't the only things receiving attention. It concerns how a young quarterback with extraordinary skill is being managed by a team that ought to be fostering rather than impeding his development. Steve Harvey, a commentator who isn't usually familiar with the nuances of the NFL, didn't hold back from criticizing the Browns' poor management. Because he is familiar with the game and the dynamics that make or destroy a team, his words have weight. Harvey's criticism wasn't made in jest. It was a comprehensive analysis of how the team has let Shedeur down, endangering the team by benching one of the most talented quarterback prospects in recent memory. Everything seems to indicate systematic failure, from the offensive line going missing to the quarterback's inadequate preparation and poorly handled chemistry. Analysts like Ken Carman and Mary Kay Kitt have joined the clamor, emphasizing how the current offensive scheme stifles even the best players and how the quarterback and his receivers are not in sync. The Browns' quarterback problem becomes a ticking time bomb when you combine this with Dillon Gabriel being thrown into the spotlight with excessive expectations. The league as a whole has been impacted by Shedeur's influence. Every step the Browns make is being watched by fans, the media, and NFL insiders who want to know if the organization will give him the opportunity he deserves or keep him on this catastrophic trajectory. This scrutiny has been heightened by Steve Harvey's vocal criticism, which serves as a reminder that the Browns' treatment of their young quarterback is a global problem. It is a topic of national conversation. Cleveland is under a lot of pressure to change, and the question is now obvious. Will the Browns step up, or will their season be characterized by poor management? How do you feel about all of this? Do you concur with Steve Harvey that Shedeur Sanders is being mistreated by the Browns, or is there another side to the tale? In your opinion, if Shedeur is traded, will Dillon Gabriel be able to handle the pressure? Or is the actual issue with the system? And before the squad loses even more, how long can QB Stefanski and the coaching staff continue to get away with these choices? We would like to know what you think. Are we in for another poor season, or do you think the Browns will finally give Shedeur the opportunity he deserves? Tell us in the comments section below.